What's next?
You know, I'll do this tour, 2 months on the road, the Anomaly tour. I think it's going to be great. And I'm going to write a book. And so, I think there's a story that needs to be told. And, it's not so much my story as much as it is the story of how I can exist, and that there's other people like me that exist, and what that looks like in all forms and fashions, whether we're talking faith-wise, whether we're talking artistically or artistry or ethnically. There's just a lot of things happening here that I don't think people stop and think about. It's like, wait a minute, wait, time out. Wait a minute, what's going on? So, yeah. I'm going to spend next year just writing and if I, probably doing a lot of things out of the country. So that'll give me some time sitting on those long flights to do some writing. But that's probably what I spend a lot of my time doing next year.
So what's the highest compliment someone could pay LeCrae?
Probably integrity or character, has been consistent. I think that matters a lot to me. And even though I know I'm not perfect, and I know I have my days where somebody's like, I hate him, I would hope that I would have a legacy that demonstrates that I demonstrated a character consistent with what Christ calls me to. At least that I died trying.
In your music, you share the pain of being molested and taking a girlfriend to have an abortion. Why share that?
I think leaders lead in vulnerability. I think you can trust a vulnerable person. I think the heirs and the guards are taken down, and people can find healing. It's said that hurt people, but healed people heal people. And I can talk about those things because I'm healed, and it helps other people find a sense of healing, and to be able to go there and pull those things out of their own closets and deal with them. Maybe they're not as bad, or maybe they're worse, but they've seen someone who's free enough to say, yeah, I'm going to talk about it, and I'm fine. Yes, it's painful, but I have enduring hope. And let's talk about what's going on in your life.
#1 on Billboard, being invited to sit in with the Roots on NBC's Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon. Gladys Knight tweeting she's listening to your music and loves it. Why do you think the world is praising you?
It's an anomaly. It sounds cliche, it sounds trite to many, but it's very obvious that it's God's handiwork. It's very obvious that he's showing off and saying, hey, guess what? This independent guy, many of you don't know, who loves me, is right here. How did it happen? Nobody knows, because I did it. You know what I mean? It's just kind of like, ha ha. It's like Gideon. Only 300 people. How did he win? I did it. You know what I mean? It's just kind of like, I could sit here and give you tons of, social media, and at the end of the day, it's phenomenal. I can only be like, okay, you showing off.
The track Anomaly, my photographer for this storyline now right there tells me that there's a nod to the group Outkast in that. Spody Odie Dopalicious. Is that true? What is it about that group that appeals to you?
Yeah, I think it's kind of a double, an entendre, or it's almost like an idea within an idea, because the album is Anomaly. The concept of the album is embracing the fact that you're different. In many ways, you're going to be an outcast. Just by nature alone, saying I stand with Jesus, has already ostracized you from a lot of people. Me being in hip hop, and saying I'm a devout Christian. It's just like, okay, so I'm an outcast in that sense. But then there's the other sense of saying, you know, I remember being a kid listening to Outkast and admiring their confidence in embracing their uniqueness. And so I mentioned them in the song, and then the production is almost a nod to their song as well. So it's just kind of all these things going on at one time.
Last question for you. Who do you listen to? We're all listening to LeCrae, so who's LeCrae listening to?
I'm listening to people that inspire me, and it's weird because, you know, hip hop has been really uninspiring for me lately. So I've listened to a lot of alternative music. I've listened to some fusion jazz. It made me feel like a real dad the other day. I was sitting there building something, listening to fusion jazz, and I was like, what is happening to me? I'm becoming a dad. And so, but you know, there's a great group called Snarky Puppy, just incredible musicians. I love listening to their stuff, very inspiring. Yeah, and so things that are just outside of the norm, yeah.